Hello friends and welcome to DigiiMento. So we will be continuing our discussion on this particular module, that is policies, governance and administration. So here this is, as I told you, this is the last module in this unit 10. So we have already began our discussion. So we will be continuing with what we were discussing. So let's quickly start, and if you are attending the classes live with me now, please do let me know. Please send me a hi, hello, so that I'll know that you are attending the classes. So we will be able to quickly start the class. Okay. So let me know if you are attending the live session. Send me a hi, hello. Let me know if I'm audible to you, if everything is all right. Hi Lipika, good evening. Hello. So let's start. So we are discussing about the policies, the governance and administration in our country in brief. So as I told you, if you can put little bit of interest into it, it's very, very interesting. And this will make you a very informed citizen. So hello Arjun. Hi, good evening Arjun. So let's start. But before that, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. So this is our channel. So please do subscribe to our channel, and also please press the bell icon for receiving more notifications. And if you are preparing for GATE, NTA, UGC NET or PGT Computer Science, we are providing online courses for the same. You can get to know the details of the courses from our website. So this is our website, www.digimento.com. So www.digimento.com, or you can even call to this number to get the details about it. Okay. So this is about our channel and the courses that we provide. So let's quickly begin. Now let's just take up the comments. Hi Arjun, hi Lipika. Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement. We have discussed about it, Lipika. I'll try to find out the video link for that and I'll share it in the Telegram channel. Hi Rani, hi Josephine. Lipika, Unit 9 videos, they are not available. I'll just talk with the team regarding that. I'll give you that. Okay, don't worry. I'll put the link in the group. Don't worry about that. Okay. So let's start. So we were discussing about the Constitution of India. So we had a brief introduction about the Constitution. Certain facts regarding the Constitution we have seen. So these were some important facts. So remember, we have the longest written Constitution in the world. Then we also discussed about the contents of the Constitution in brief. So what are the articles, schedules and all that we discussed. Okay, the parts, schedules, articles, etc. Then regarding the amendments also we have discussed. Then how did we frame the Constitution, or how the Constitution was written, how long did it take, the time period. So time. Then enactment of the Constitution coming into effect, then why this date was chosen. So all that we have discussed. Next, regarding the Constituent Assembly. So regarding Constituent Assembly also we discussed in brief. So out of the 284 members, that is total members are 284, and out of that 15 were women. Then regarding the original copies, so all that facts we have discussed. Next is various sources of Constitution. So I think this is where we stopped yesterday. So yesterday we discussed about two important sources of our Constitution. One is the Government of India Act, GOI Act of 1935. And second one we discussed about the British Constitution. So two major sources from where we have borrowed some of the very, very important provisions of the Constitution. Okay. So Lipika, Shiva, good evening Shiva. Arjun, Telegram name. There are 3-4 Telegram channels basically. So one common channel is DigiiMento Education. And the other channels, there are some batch-wise channels also. So somebody can help Arjun regarding that, Lipika. Don't worry about it. Hi Pratap. Hi Nasreena. Hello everyone. Good evening. So I think Nasreena, Pratap and all are new faces to our class. Welcome. Hello. So yeah. Okay. Lipika, don't worry about it. I'll make some arrangements for that. Don't worry. Okay. So yeah. So we have discussed about these two important sources. One is Government of India Act of 1935. Next is the British Constitution. And I have explained each and every provision. Those who have missed the yesterday's lecture, please find it on our channel and please do try to watch them. Okay, it will give you some basic understanding. Next source, let's see. Next is the US Constitution. So we have borrowed many features of our constitution from various sources. So next one is the US Constitution. So regarding the US Constitution, we have borrowed the fundamental rights. So fundamental rights have been borrowed from US Constitution. Okay. So what are fundamental rights? Fundamental rights means those rights that are fundamental or that the state cannot deny. So that is fundamental rights. Now regarding fundamental rights, the fundamental rights that we exercise in India is not absolute. So it's not absolute rights. I'll explain what is meant by this term not absolute. Before that, we need to know what are the fundamental rights we have. We have right to equality. Then we have right to freedom. Then we have the right to speech and expression. Right to freedom and speech and expression. Then right to freedom to choose the religion that we want. So religious rights. Or then we have the right to constitutional remedies. Constitutional remedies. So these are some of the fundamental rights that we have. We will discuss about it in some detail later in this module itself. So these rights are not absolute. So what is meant by absolute rights? Absolute right means that the state here refers to the government. Okay, state. In constitution, the state refers to government. So absolute right means the state cannot deny these rights under any circumstance. So any is important. So under any circumstance, the state cannot deny these rights. Now, why we say that the fundamental rights that we enjoy today, they are not absolute? The reason is that the state can put reasonable restrictions on our fundamental rights. That is why it is called not absolute. So, why reasonable restrictions can be imposed by the state. So some reasonable restrictions, for example, freedom of speech and expression guaranteed under Article 19 of the Constitution, which is a fundamental right. Now say for example, you have the freedom of speech and expression. So you are telling or speaking something which is against the integrity of our country, which is against the sovereignty of the parliament, or which is against the judiciary. So if it is affecting the national security, if it is affecting the public interest, if it is affecting the sovereignty of the country, in all those cases the state can put some reasonable restrictions. So this is why it is called it is said that we do not enjoy absolute fundamental rights. So here the term absolute means that the state can impose some reasonable restrictions based on the situation. So the idea is that we have the fundamental rights, but it is not above the public interest. So the interest of the public in general and the sovereignty of the country and the security of the country is above the fundamental rights. So any harm or the damage to any of these can have a consequence on the implementation of these fundamental rights. So the idea of fundamental rights, we have borrowed it from US Constitution, and understand that the fundamental rights are not absolute. The state can put some reasonable restrictions on the fundamental rights. So this is regarding the fundamental rights. Now I'll just rub it off to bring the next point. Okay. Now, next one is regarding the independence of judiciary. So, what is meant by independence of judiciary? I think yesterday only I have explained to you what is meant by the independence of judiciary. So, independence of judiciary means that before that we need to understand something about the organs of the government. So, there are basically 3 organs of government. The first one is the legislature, second one is the executive, and the third one is the judiciary. Now, legislature consists of the parliament, or the legislating body, which means the members of the legislature are the MPs that we choose or that we elect. Now, executive refers to the Council of Ministers. So, Council of Ministers which is headed by the Prime Minister. So, there is a Council of Ministers and this Council of Ministers is headed by the Prime Minister. Next, we have the judiciary, which consists of the integrated judicial system in India, including the High Courts and the Supreme Court. So this is called the three organs of the government. You must have studied about the three organs of the government in your school days, in your school lessons. I think it was in the 9th standard or 10th standard polity textbook. You had the you had to study about the three organs of the government. Now, when we talk about these three organs of the government, what is meant by the independence of judiciary? I'll just change the color to make you understand it in a better manner. Now, this three organs of the government and the independence of judiciary. Now, independence of judiciary means that the judiciary is independent from executive and legislative action. So, the judiciary is independent means that the judiciary is not dependent upon. So, this clearly means that the judiciary is not dependent upon the other two organs of the government. Other two organs of the government, which is the legislature and the executive. Now, what is the meaning of this? What do you mean by this independency of the judiciary? So, this means that the judiciary cannot be influenced by the legislature or the executive. It is independent. So, judiciary need not depend upon the legislature or the executive to take its decisions. Now, we can give many examples for this. One very good example would be the verdict. So many verdicts of the Supreme Court. For example, if we look into some of the recent verdicts of the Supreme Court, in many cases we have seen that the judiciary Supreme Court has gone against the interest of the state, that is the government. So judiciary is not dependent upon legislature or executive. It is independent of the legislature and the executive. So judiciary can exercise their own powers and rights without depending upon the legislature and the executive. So this is the idea of independence of judiciary. I hope you got it. Okay. So even though in examination all these details will not come, I am giving you the details because at some point of time in your life, I think this will be very much helpful to you, at least to become an informed citizen. So that's why I am going into the detail. Don't think that it's a waste of time for you. It's very good to know all these things, and we even do not know from where the question will come in your examination also. Next one is regarding the judicial review. Now, what is meant by this term judicial review? As we said, we have a legislature, then we have an executive, then we also have a judiciary. Okay. Now, if we look into the specific functions of legislature, executive and judiciary. Now, regarding legislature, the specific purpose or the most important paramount purpose of the legislature is to legislate upon certain matters. That is formulation of laws. So, legislation is the primary purpose or the paramount purpose of the legislature. Next, we have the executive, which is the Council of Ministers. Now, the purpose of Council of Ministers, especially the Cabinet. So, Cabinet comes within the Council of Ministers. So, Council of Ministers' purpose is to aid and provide help to the legislature. Now, Cabinet is the decision-making body, and Cabinet consists of those ministers who hold the highest portfolios within the government. So, this is regarding Cabinet and the Council of Ministers who form the executive. Now, judiciary, as we said, judiciary is independent of all these, and the most important purpose of judiciary is to see whether the legislation, so whether the legislation made by the legislative is in line with the constitutional principles. So, I told you in the beginning that there are certain constitutional principles like equality, fraternity, sovereignty, then secularism. So all these are some of the fundamental principles that the constitution upholds. So purpose of judiciary, the most important purpose of judiciary will be to see that the legislation in the country happens in line with the provisions of the constitution. Now, judicial review also means that whenever the legislature comes up with a legislation. So legislation means passing of the bills and making the acts in the parliament. So whenever the parliament is coming up with a bill or an act, the purpose of judiciary is to oversee that and conduct a review to see that whether the legislation or the act passed by the parliament is in line with the constitutional provisions. Now, if the constitutional provisions are violated, then the judiciary can struck down such a provision made by the parliament. I hope you understood this. Now, I'll explain it in even more simple language. So, we have the legislature on one hand. This legislature is the law-making body. So, whatever laws in the country, it is made by the legislature. Now, we have the judiciary. What is the purpose of the judiciary? Okay, before that you need to understand that the Supreme Court of India is the guardian of the constitution. Okay, guardian of the constitution and the interpreter of the constitution. Now, guardian of constitution means that to protect the constitution. Now, protecting constitution means Supreme Court or the judiciary is responsible to see that the constitutional provisions are upheld, it is being protected. Now, see, for example, if legislature makes a law and if the judiciary feels that this law is not in line with the constitutional provisions or it violates some of the fundamentals of the constitution, then what the judiciary can do? The judiciary can immediately struck down the law made by the parliament. Very good example is the NJAC, that is National Judicial Appointments Commission. So NJAC was passed as a constitutional amendment act by the parliament. Now, this was regarding the appointment of judges. Now, what did the parliament do? Parliament passed the NJAC bill and made it an act, National Judicial Appointments Commission Act. And this act was made by parliament for the appointment of judges. But Supreme Court felt that this is against the constitutional provision of independence of judiciary. Independence of judiciary is a constitutional fundamental principle, basic structure. So Supreme Court felt that this is against it. What did the Supreme Court do? They struck down this provision. So this is what is called judicial review. So in simple words, judicial review is nothing, but it means that whenever legislation or the parliament is making a law, the judiciary can review that particular law to see whether it is constitutionally right or wrong. And if it is wrong, judiciary can simply struck down such a provision made by the parliament. I hope this is clear for you. If not, please do let me know in the comment section. Okay? No, Nargis Thanu, hi. Pratap, thank you. You're welcome, Pratap. Kirti, good evening. Nasreena, thank you. You're welcome, Nasreena. Puvidi, hello. Rani, it's buffering. Now is it okay? Yeah, Lipika has commented that it's clear now. Okay, yes, all right. And Muhammad Hassan, hi. Hi, Hassan. So I hope this much is clear for you. If you have any doubts till now, let me know. Okay? And also let me know if it's boring for you so that I can try to make it little more interesting. So let me know your comments because this is an entirely different topic from what you were learning in your subject specialization. So I want to know the response from your part. So let me know whether it is interesting or it's boring or it's very, do you feel it very difficult to follow or whatever is your comment, give me your honest opinion. I will not feel bad. I'll try to improve. So let me know how do you feel about the classes. Arjun, good class. Thank you. Das, it's fine. Rani, ma'am, the content of all this constitution, are they important for exam? There are questions from constitution, but not very detailed or like not very difficult questions. You can definitely answer all of them. But I made it a little more elaborate because one thing is to give you some understanding about the constitution. And second thing is that uh, whatever questions come, you will be able to answer. Now, one more thing that I want to tell you, I don't know about the other states, but I'm telling you about my own state from where I belong to. So I belong to Kerala, and what happens here in Kerala, after you clear the NET examination, you have to give a separate state PSC examination to get selected to any of the government colleges. So in the state PSC examination, they do ask a lot of questions from the constitution. So I think this will be helpful for you to attend some of the state PSC exams also, like lectureship post and all. So that is also another reason why I am giving you some details about it. So that is the intention. So in my state it is like that. So after clearing NET, you have to give another PSC examination. NET is only the qualifying exam, and then you have to give a PSC exam to get selected as a lecturer in some government colleges. So for that matter, you need to know all these details. Questions may come. So that's the reason I have given you all these content. So yeah, that is it. Hi Vikrant, hello. So anything more to be clarified? Okay, I think we'll go to the next one. Next provision is impeachment of president. So this provision of impeachment of the president also we have adopted from the US Constitution. Now, what is meant by impeachment? Impeachment of president means that removal of president from office. Removal of president from the office. So removal of the president from the office. This is called impeachment. Okay. Vikrant, ma'am, in NET exam there is no question on constitution. But in your syllabus it is mentioned, polity is mentioned. So that is why I am giving you all this. Vikrant. Hi Pooja. Hello. So yeah, next is regarding the impeachment of president. So impeachment means removal of president from the office of the president. Now as we said, in the US they have a presidential system, but in India we have a parliamentary system. But the impeachment of president, the provisions are taken from the US Constitution. Now we know that the president is the nominal head of the state. So he or she is the nominal head of the state or the government, and the real head is the prime minister, who is the head of the council of ministers. Now, impeachment of the president, that is, the president can be removed from his office only on one condition, that is the violation of constitution. So violation of constitution is the only ground under which a president can be removed from his office, and the impeachment process itself is a very long process. So the parliament, both the houses of the parliament has to pass the resolution with more than 3/4 of the majority. Then this will go to a committee. Then the president will be given a hearing opportunity, and then again it will be put to vote. So it's a very long and lengthy process. So that's regarding the impeachment of president. So a few things that you need to know is that the president can be impeached or removed from the office only on one ground, and this ground for removal of the president, so ground for removal of president is violation of the constitution. So violation of the constitution is the only ground under which a president can be removed from his office. Okay. Now Vikrant, previously 2 years back it was asking question on constitution, but now there is no question. Maybe we are not sure. Maybe 2 years back they asked, so now they can again repeat. There is an uncertainty regarding that, and we cannot take risk. Maybe they will ask again. So these are all very few things about the constitution, and I think simply by attending the class and you can make some lecture notes and revising it will be sufficient enough. And if at all some questions come, you can definitely answer them. So that's why. And if you don't want me to take this session, I can drop also. So based on your comments, I will proceed further with this. So if you think that this is not very relevant, not many questions are asked, so I can drop this. That is not an issue. Okay, so anything is fine. You can give me your suggestions. I request all of you to give your suggestions regarding this module. I'm not sure, and I cannot promise that no questions will come because it's mentioned in syllabus. But if you think that this may not be required, then you can decide. You can let me know. I'll do accordingly. So let me know. Okay. Sumati, good evening, ma'am. Network problem. Good evening, Sumati. Anybody else having network problem? If yes, let me know. Okay, I'll just check my internet. Okay, so let's see, and based on your comments I'll do. Okay, next one is Irish Constitution. So Ireland Constitution. No, sorry, before that we have removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges. Sorry. So the next important provision that we have adopted from the US Constitution is regarding the removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges. So removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges. Now removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges, also we have adopted the provisions from the US Constitution only. Okay, and the post of Vice President. So Vice President is also the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Okay. So yeah, so Vice President is ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, and Vice President is also a member of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, he comes from Rajya Sabha. Now Nazrina, you continue. Okay, thank you. So if at all you feel that this is to be discontinued or anything, you can be free. I am your teacher, but at the same time I can be a very good friend to you. So I will not feel bad. Whatever comments you give me, I'll feel very good because you are helping me improve myself. Okay, so whatever you can tell me. Ma'am, take current affair on higher education. That's very important. Yes, Vikrant, I'm doing that. Current affair, any topic coming under higher education, I'm covering that in small videos, not in live class. Small videos I'm making, and it's been posted in the other channel, I think. So you can watch that also. I'm doing current affairs as well. Definitely, yes. Okay. Then next one is, So from the Irish Constitution, Ireland Constitution, we have adopted the DPSP. Now DPSP is the Directive Principles of State Policy. Okay. DPSP, or the Directive Principles of State Policy. Now what is meant by this Directive Principles of State Policy? So these are certain guidelines given to the state, that is to the government. So certain directives given to the government for better governance or better delivery of services. Governance or better delivery of services. So this cannot be enforced by law, which means that you cannot go to a court of law saying that there is one such provision for DPSP, but I am not getting the rights under that. So you cannot approach a court of law. Now for example, under DPSP, one provision, I'll just give you an example. Free legal aid. Okay. Free legal aid is a provision under DPSP, but this is not a fundamental right. In case of fundamental right, what you can do, if you are not getting your fundamental right, if you feel that the government or the state is denying your fundamental right, you can approach the court of law. So you can go to the court under Article 32 of the Constitution. So under Article 32, you can approach the High Court or Supreme Court, you can file writ jurisdiction and you can get it done. But in case of DPSP, they are not compulsory from the part of the state to do. So it is voluntary for the state, but the Constitution prefers, or Constitution says that it will be better if you if the states provide the DPSPs. So these are directives given to the state or directives given to the government for the better functioning of the government and better delivery of the services. Another example of a DPSP is Uniform Civil Code, UCC. Uniform Civil Code. So this is just a DPSP. So you cannot enforce it by using law. So DPSPs, or the Directive Principles of State Policies, are the directives given to the government okay, by the constitution, and which will help in better governance of the country. Okay, this is regarding the directive principles of state policy. Next one is regarding the nomination of members to Rajya Sabha. Now we know that in Rajya Sabha, okay, I'll tell a few things about Rajya Sabha. First one, it is the Council of States. Council of State means it represents the states. Now, second one, it is the upper house of the parliament. So, upper house of the parliament. Now, the third point is that the members of the Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected. Now, indirectly elected means that in case of Lok Sabha elections, what do? You go to the polling booth and you cast your vote and you select your own leader or you select your own representative. This is in case of Lok Sabha. But have you ever gone for a polling or for a voting for electing members to Rajya Sabha? No. How is the Rajya Sabha members elected? It is elected by the members of the state legislature. So the MLAs that we choose, they elect the Rajya Sabha members, and this Rajya Sabha members, they represent a state. Okay, not constituency, they represent a state. Now, that's why it is also called the upper house of the parliament. Now, nomination of members to Rajya Sabha. So, in constitution, we have a provision which says that 12 members can be nominated to Rajya Sabha. So, there are, apart from elected members, there are 12 nominated members to Rajya Sabha. So, these 12 members, who nominates these 12 members? The President can nominate, President of India can nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. So this provision of nomination of members to Rajya Sabha is provided according to the Irish Constitution. So we have adopted this feature from the Irish Constitution. Now next one is the method of election of the president. So how the president is elected. So how is the election of president done? This is also adopted from the Irish Constitution. Okay. Then Kalerasi Rajan, you're so sweet. Thank you. Please continue. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. That was a very sweet comment. Rani ma'am, will this module finish before exam? No. It will finish soon. It will not go beyond the exam. I think your exam is posted on October 4th. Can you give me the date of your examination? It's in October, no? So, this will not go beyond the exam, this module. So when is your exam, computer science exam? October 5th or something. I exactly don't remember the date. So 16th or I forgot. 7th of October. Okay, no, it will not go. Today is only 21st. So before that we will finish for sure. Don't worry about it. Okay. 7th. Okay. Now, next one is Canadian Constitution. That is the Constitution of Canada. So, from Canada, what are the provisions that we have adopted? So, this is regarding Rani, because it's too lengthy module. It's a very lengthy module, but I'll try to finish it. These are all the basic things. And if you remember, when we started the Unit 9, Ecology and all, Environment, People and Development, I told you that if you understand the basics clearly, then it's very easy for you to proceed further. The same is the case with polity also. So whatever I'm teaching now, what is fundamental right, what is judicial system in India, how is a president removed, directive principles, all these things are the fundamentals, the basic things. So if you understand these basic things very well, then we can proceed very fast. So please make sure you revise it at least once after the class. Before the next class, you revise it at least once. So if your basic is clear, then we will be able to move very fast. Okay. So this basic is taking this much of time, but definitely when we proceed further, then because you know the basic, it will be very easy. So my suggestion is that you please revise it at least one time before the next class. So it will end. So it will go very well, Rani. Don't worry about it. I will finish it before the exam. Don't worry. Okay, next one is regarding Canadian Constitution. So these are the provisions that we adopted from Canada's Constitution. A federation with a strong center. Now, yesterday we discussed about the concept of federation. See, federation means there is a union government and below that there is a state government. This is called federation, and the federal government is union government and we have the state government. Now, we know that the union government is more powerful than the state. That is a federation with a strong center. Center is stronger than the state. Why? Because we have union list. Yesterday we discussed about it. Union list, state list and the concurrent list. Now, union list, union can make law. State list, state can make law. Concurrent list, anybody, state or union. But in case of concurrent list, if both the union government and the state government make a law on a particular thing, then the law made by the union government will prevail over the law made by the state government. Now, the very next point is that there are also residuary powers. Residuary means whatever is remaining. Whatever powers doesn't fall under any of these category, the residuary powers lies with the central government. So that's why we say that the center is more powerful. So if you look around also, you will see that the union government is more powerful than the state government. So this feature is adopted from Canada's constitution, having a union government in the federation which is stronger than the state government. Okay. Then the second point is again what we have discussed now, vesting of the residuary powers. So vesting of residuary powers with the center. So that is what we said. The residuary powers. Residuary powers means whatever powers are remaining left out, it goes to the center. Okay. So that is called residuary powers. Now, third one is appointment of the governor by the center. Now, we have to discuss a little bit about it. So, who is a governor? The constitution provides that every state should have a governor. Now, who is a governor? So, basically a governor is a link between the central government and the state government. So, the governor is appointed by the center, but the governor stays in the state. So, he discharges his duty in the state government. Now, being a federal structure, the governor's function is to create a link between the state government and the central government. This is the very purpose of the governor, creating a link between the center and the states. So this particular provision of appointment of state governor by the center. So the governor is appointed by the center in the states. This provision is also taken from the Canadian Constitution. Next one is the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. So it comes under Article 143. Article 143 says that the Supreme Court has to render its advice to the Council of Ministers if the Council of Ministers, if so, ask. So what does it mean? Council of Ministers or the government, if the government asks any advice from the Supreme Court, it can be some legal advice on certain policy matters. So if the Council of Ministers ask for some advice from the Supreme Court cannot deny it. The Supreme Court has to give its advice to the Council of Ministers or to the government. So this is called the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. So this provision has also been adopted from the Canadian Constitution. Okay. So we have a few more to go. Let's see some more. Next is the Australian Constitution. Okay. Now, Australian Constitution. From Australia, what we have adopted? One is the concurrent list. Now see, now there is no need to explain what is concurrent list. We have explained it 2 times. So this is what I said. First, if you understand the basic, it will be very easy. Now there is no need to explain what is meant by concurrent list. You know it. So this provision of concurrent list is adopted from Australia. Then the joint sitting of 2 houses of the parliament. Now what is meant by joint sitting? There are 2 houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and each of these houses of the parliament, they carry out their exercises independently or they discharge their duties independently. Now the constitution provides for a joint sitting. What is meant by joint sitting? Both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha will sit together, discuss a bill and pass the bill together. So this provision is taken from Australian Constitution. Now regarding the Constitution of Germany, so suspension of fundamental rights during emergency. So I told you when we discussed about fundamental rights that the fundamental rights are not absolute. Reasonable restrictions can be imposed by the government on fundamental rights. Now what are the scope for this reasonable restriction? On the interest of the state, on public interest, regarding security and sovereignty of the country. Considering all that, the fundamental rights can be restricted by the government. So suspension of fundamental rights during emergency. We will see what are emergency provisions. So suspending the fundamental rights during the emergency, this provision has been adopted from Germany. So German constitution provides for suspension of fundamental rights during emergency, which means that when emergency is going on, the fundamental rights can be suspended. Next is from the French constitution. Republic. The idea of republic has been adopted from French constitution. What is meant by republic? Republic means that the head of the state, that is the head of the government or the head of the state, is elected. So we have a elected head, and this is what is called a republic. Now who is the nominal head of our government? President is the nominal head, whereas the prime minister is the real executive. So president is the head of the state. So president is elected. So we do not follow a monarchy, monarchy or something. So this is called republic. Now in case of UK, England and all, they have monarchies. So that is not republic, because the head of the state is not elected. Republic means the head of the state is elected. Then from the French constitution, we have adopted the ideals of liberty, equality and fraternity in the preamble. Preamble is the introduction to the constitution. So in the introduction, we have mentioned about the ideals of the constitution, and there we have mentioned that fraternity, liberty and equality are the ideals that we follow. Now if you have learned something about the French Revolution, I'll just remove it. You must have read about the French Revolution in your school days. So French Revolution. So the basic ideals of French Revolution were liberty, fraternity and equality. These were the slogans of the French Revolution. So from France, we have adopted this concepts of liberty, fraternity and equality in our preamble. Okay. Mukesh Saini, ma'am, governor is considered as republic. President is considered as republic. Head of the state, head of the country is the president. So president is republic, and governor is not an elected person. So governor is appointed by the central government. He or she is not an elected person. So governor is not a republic. President, republic here refers to the president. Okay. Now next is regarding Japanese constitution. From Japanese constitution, we have adopted procedure established by law. That is, we have to follow the due process of law. Due process of law. So this provision has been adopted from the Japanese constitution. Okay, from the Japan constitution. Okay, I think we will wind up for today, because if I prolong or extend the polity classes, I'm sure you must be getting bored. So for now, we will wind up. I'll meet you again tomorrow. So please do revise it one time. Because classes might be interesting. You might think that everything is understood in the class, but without revision it will not stick to your mind. So please revise. I am sure you will have a couple of doubts at least, because this is a new subject that you are learning. So come up with some doubts tomorrow, so I will also know that you have understood my classes. Okay, so please do come up with some doubts and keep the session engaging. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. Please do take care. Don't worry about your examination much. And as I always say, we are all there for you. So don't worry about the exam. Study really well. Do your best and wish you all the very best. I'll meet you again tomorrow, the same time, 7:30 p.m. Please watch the sessions continuously, and please do share this video with your friends. And if you like it, do not forget to share and also like the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. So everyone, thank you and take care. Good night everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye. Hello friends, and welcome to DigiiMento. So there was a small change in the timing today. Sorry, I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. So welcome. And Yeah, so we will be continuing the discussion. So we will be continuing the discussion on policies, governance, and administration. I think yesterday we have already discussed about the introduction to our constitution. So we discussed some basic facts about the constitution. Then we also discussed about some of the sources of our constitution, like from where did we take up, or from where did we take up certain principles or some basic fundamentals of our constitution. So this is what we were discussing yesterday. So today we will be discussing about the preamble of the constitution, and depending on the time we will also be starting with the fundamental rights. So we will take up preamble and fundamental rights. Okay, so let's begin. And before that, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. This is our channel, UGC NTA Net Computer Science. So if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel, and also press the bell icon for receiving the notifications of the new videos that we post. And if you are preparing for GATE, NTA, UGC Net or PGT Computer Science, you can avail our online courses. So we are providing you online courses, and the details of the courses you will get it from our website. So this is our website, www.DigiiMento.com, or you can even call to this number for more details. Okay, so let's begin. Hi Sumati, hello, welcome. So because of the change in time, I think many of you are not attending because you were not aware about the change in timings. I'm really sorry for that. And from today onwards, there will be a small change. For a few days, I will be continuing at 8 o'clock itself. Okay, so maybe for a week or for some 2-3 days, I'll continue like this. Okay, we will take up the classes at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Okay, so I think we will start. Hi Sagar. When will be paper to discussion? 9 o'clock. So the next class is at 9. Okay. So I think we will begin, and by that time hopefully others will also join for the classes. Okay, so let's begin. So this is what we were discussing yesterday about the constitution. Then we also discussed about some of the important facts regarding our constitution. So some important facts. Then about the Constituent Assembly, then about drafting of the Constitution, then we started with various sources of the Constitution, and here in various sources of the Constitution we were discussing each and every feature in detail. So if you remember, in yesterday's discussion we had taken up each important feature taken up from different sources, and we discussed everything in detail: federal scheme, governor, office of governor, judiciary, public service commission, emergency provision, administrative details, etc. Then coming to British Constitution, we discussed about parliamentary system, rule of law, legislative procedure, it's E. Then single citizenship, cabinet system, prerogative writs, parliamentary privileges, bicameralism. So all these features of Indian Constitution, or the basic ideals behind Indian Constitution, we have adopted from the British Constitution. Then we discussed about the US Constitution, and under US Constitution we discussed about the fundamental rights, independence of our judiciary, judicial review, impeachment of the president, removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges, and also the post of vice president. So this is what we discussed. Then Irish Constitution, then we discussed about the DPSPs, nomination of members to Rajya Sabha, method of election of the president. Then coming to Canadian Constitution, we discussed about federation with a strong centre, vesting of residuary powers in the centre, appointment of governor by the centre, and advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Okay. Then we discussed about Australian Constitution. I think this also we have completed yesterday. Yes. Hi Lipika, good evening. Okay. So regarding Australian Constitution, we discussed about the concurrent list. joint sitting of the two houses of parliament. Then regarding the constitution of Germany, we discussed about suspension of fundamental rights during emergency. Then French constitution, we discussed about the republic and the ideals of liberty, fraternity and equality in the preamble. Then we also discussed about Japanese constitution, where we discussed about the procedure established by law. I think this is where we ended yesterday. So any doubts till now you can ask me. Okay. Just take a few seconds to mention the doubts if you have any. So yeah. Hi Arjun, hi Puviri, hi Pratap. If you have any doubts, I told you yesterday to revise and come. So if you have any doubts, do let me know. Okay, do let me know, and then we will continue. Lipika, yes, I have checked it, and also the team has told me that they have uploaded the PDF, and also regarding the classes, Lipika, those classes were combined. That maybe that is the reason you were not able to find it. So what we have done is we have combined some like 4 or 5 lectures together and made it a single video. So that's why maybe you are not able to get it, but we will be sending you the link. Okay, we will be sending you that link soon, don't worry. And all the PDFs are shared with the students according to the information that I got from the team members. So PDFs are already available now, and the classes also, they have just combined it 3-4 classes and put it as a single class, some 3-4 hours lectures. That is the reason. Okay, you will get the link also soon. Rani, hi, good evening. So anybody, any doubts? So till what we have learned yesterday, if anybody has any doubts, let me know now. So let's continue. Now the next one that we will be discussing is South African Constitution. Okay, no doubts, Sumati. Okay, thank you. So South African Constitution. First one is the procedure for the amendment of the constitution. So this is the first provision that we have adopted from South Africa. So what is meant by amendment to the constitution? Yesterday I think we discussed about constitutional amendments, and we also said that there are as of now 104 amendments to the constitution. Okay, so we have already said that. Now what is this amendment to the constitution? Amendment to the constitution means that making or bringing any changes in any of the provisions of the constitution. So making any changes in any of the provisions of the constitution is called amendment. Now can you give me some examples of amendment? GST, introduction of GST was through amending the constitution. Then other example, EWS. The EWS quota was introduced. A 10% of quota for the economically weaker sessions was introduced. So this was done by amending the constitution or the constitutional provisions. Then other amendments, can somebody else tell me some examples of amendments? Informative mission, Pani Lo. I forgot to take water today, so that's why. So can somebody tell me any examples of any amendments apart from GST and EWS? Any other amendments you remember? No comments. Not getting any answer. So as of now there are 104 amendments to the constitution. So certain recent examples are the GST, introduction of GST, EWS, all these are some of the amendments made to the constitution. Now second one is the election of members of Rajya Sabha. So yesterday I think we discussed about it regarding the election of members of Rajya Sabha. So basically the election of members to the Rajya Sabha, it is a kind of indirect election. Okay, indirect election in the sense that people do not go to the polling booths and cast their votes. But what has been done is, in case of In case of Rajya Sabha elections, the members of the state legislature, that is the MLAs and the MLCs, members of state legislature, they choose the members to the Rajya Sabha from the state. Okay. So kind of indirect election is followed for Rajya Sabha. So it's a kind of indirect election where the voters do not directly elect the members to Rajya Sabha. Am I audible to you? I think there is a network error. Can someone tell me if there is any network error? Okay, so these are the provisions that we have adopted from South Africa. Okay, so two important things. So one is the procedure of amendment, that is what are the procedures to be followed. So procedures to be followed. Okay, all clear, audible. Thank you so much. So in between, I was not able to get the comments. So I thought like, okay, some issues there. Okay. So first one adopted from South Africa is that what should be the procedure to be followed for the election of members to Rajya Sabha. Then the second one, procedures to be followed for amending the constitution. Second one is regarding the procedure to be followed for electing the members to the Rajya Sabha. So as I said, in case of Rajya Sabha, the elections are indirect. So there are indirect elections, which means people do not directly elect the members, but the members of the state legislature elect the members to Rajya Sabha. Okay. Now finally, let's see what are the provisions that we have adopted from the constitution of former USSR. So former USSR, because the USSR got disintegrated in 1990s. So 91 period, the USSR got disintegrated, and now the major country is Russia. Major country, it got disintegrated into many number of countries. Now from the former USSR, what we have adopted, first one is the procedure of 5-year plan. Why? Because USSR is basically a socialist economy. So the idea of 5-year plan, we adopted it from USSR. Next is fundamental duties. So fundamental duties means those duties that the citizens are to abide by. So the citizens have to follow those things, or like we have the rights. Okay, we discussed about the fundamental rights. So we discussed about the fundamental rights. So similarly, we also have duties. So when we have certain rights, we should also follow certain duties. Okay, so we have some fundamental duties which has to be followed. Then next is the ideals of justice in preamble. So in the preamble we have the idea of justice, and what kind of justice is guaranteed by the constitution? Social, economic and political. So political justice, social justice and economic justice. Okay. Okay. So this is guaranteed by the constitution in the preamble itself. Okay. Now informative mission has asked me, prohibition means what? Okay. Prohibition means to prohibit something, to stop something. Then Rani, what is 5-year plan? Okay, I'll just explain what is this 5-year plan. Okay, don't worry. Now I'll just explain the concept of 5-year plans. Okay, 5-year plan. So what is meant by a 5-year plan? Now now we have a body called the Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog, what is it? It is the policy think tank of the government of India. So policy think tank. So policy think tank of government of India, and the purpose of Niti Aayog is to give the government recommendations regarding the policy matters. So Niti Aayog basically gives the policy. Okay, so the purpose of Niti Aayog is to give recommendations to the government. Now before Niti Aayog we had something called the Planning Commission. So Niti Aayog has replaced the Planning Commission. Now, what was the purpose of the Planning Commission? The purpose of Planning Commission was to make plans for the economy. So, these plans made by the Planning Commission for the economy was known as 5-year plans. This was a Nehruvian idea. The first Prime Minister of independent India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, had this idea of bringing in economic planning. So, economic planning. Now, what is this economic planning? It means that we are planning our expenditure, how the government should spend the money. So, it was basically 5-year plans in India, which means that for a period of 5 years, we will make a planning, and the planning commission was abolished, and then the NITI Aayog was constituted. So planning means, this planning here or 5-year plans means that earlier we had the system of 5-year plans where the planning commission decided, or planning commission recommended, not decided actually, because final approval has to come from the government only. So planning commission recommended plan for a period of 5 years. So that's why it is also known as 5-year plans. Okay. Okay. So this is regarding different sources from where we have borrowed for the constitution. Okay. So different sources. So with this we have finished different sources. Okay. Arjun is asking me, Rajya Sabha concept is already adopted from Irish constitution. Then what is the role of South African constitution? Okay, I'll just explain, Arjun. Okay, I'm very happy that you are asking me doubts, because otherwise I was in a confusion that whether you are not understanding anything, and that's why you are not asking anything. Okay, thank you so much for the question, Arjun. I'll clarify that. Now, from the Irish constitution, we adopted the concept of Rajya Sabha. So what does it mean? It means that there is bicameralism, there is Rajya Sabha. So what is Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha is basically the upper house of the parliament, and this is also called the Council of States. So Council of States, or this is the representation of states in the Rajya Sabha. That is why the state legislature elects the members to Rajya Sabha. So this is the Council of States, or the upper house of the parliament. Now, this concept of having an upper house, that is in a bicameral legislation, having an upper house, and then the upper house constituting the members who represent the states, that is making a council of states. This idea was adopted from Irish constitution. Now, for this Rajya Sabha, there should be some members. So how these members are going to be elected, that is the procedure to be followed, or how is the election to be carried out to the Rajya Sabha. So the procedure for election to Rajya Sabha, or how elections to the Rajya Sabha has to be carried out, this was based on the South African constitution, or we have depended upon the South African constitution for considering the procedure of election to the Rajya Sabha. I hope it is clear for you now, Arjun. So if you have any more doubts, not just Arjun, anybody else, any doubts, you can ask me. We are going to the next topic, that is preamble. But before that, if as of now whatever we have studied, if you have any doubts, let me know. Okay. Rani, you're welcome, Rani. Josephine, hi, good evening. Pooja, good evening. So tell me if you have any more doubts. I am very happy, when you ask me the doubts, I'm really happy. Otherwise, I am in a thinking that I'm in an assumption that you people are not getting anything. So do let me know if you have any doubts. If it's clear for you, we will move to the next topic. So let me know in the comment section if it's clear for you or not. Lipika has a doubt from Unit 9. Okay, ask me, Lipika. Clear for Rani. Okay, Lipika, you can ask me, no issues. If I am not able to recollect it, I'll refer it and tell you. Okay, ask me, no issues. One more thing, don't be formal in my class. You can ask me anything from whatever we have discussed earlier also, no issues. Just think that I am your friend, I am one among you. Okay, so you can ask me anything. And also that I want you to be very interactive, and then I want this to be a team, a kind of discussion where we will discuss whatever we know, we will discuss each other and then clarify and proceed. Okay, so Lipika has asked me about the LMO. So yes, I'll give you examples, Lipika. So LMO refers to, I'll just clear it off, living modified organisms. Okay, so I'll write it here, LMO. So Lipika's doubt is from unit 9, okay, don't think that it is from here, it's from unit 9. Okay, now LMO means living modified organisms. Okay, so first part is living, second one is modified. So living modified organism means those living organism which is modified. Now, why is this modification done on a living organism? This modification is done in a living organism to ensure that the living organism have some better characteristics. So, better characteristics. So, for that, it is modified. Now, examples of living modified organisms, BT brinjal, then BT cotton. So all these are examples of living modified organisms. Now, why these are called living modified organisms? I'll explain that also. Now, with regard to BT brinjal, BT cotton and all, we know brinjal and cotton, all these plants are living organisms. Now, this BT, how did this name BT came? This indicates that it is a modified organism. Now, why is this modified? This is modified because to make it more, to give it more better characteristics. Like for example, pest resistance. So these are all agricultural commodities. So we know one major problem is pest attack. So pest resistance can be given by modifying it. Now another advantage is to increase the productivity. So there are certain advantages by modifying an organism, a living organism. So this is called living modified organism. So examples are BT brinjal, BT cotton, etc. So we have certain international agreements which ensures that the living modified organisms are developed for the benefit of all the stakeholders. So that is what we were discussing in unit 9. So I was just bringing it because Lipika asked me a doubt here. So I hope for Lipika it's clear, and also those who did not know about LMOs, I hope it's clear for you now. If you have any doubts from the module that we are discussing now or anything else, you can ask me now so that we will proceed to the next one, that is the preamble of our constitution. So any doubts, let me know in the comment section. Any clarifications required, let me know. Okay, otherwise we will go to the preamble. Lipika, clear. Okay. Anybody else? Any doubts? Let me know. Clear. Okay. Abhi Kumar, what is preamble? We will come to it, Abhi. Okay. I hope no other doubts. So let's come. So preamble. What is preamble? It's basically an introduction to our constitution. So if you look into the document, constitution, the document, difference between constitution and preamble. I'll explain it, Abhi. Okay. So if you see the written document, that is the constitution, the first thing that will appear before you is the preamble. So preamble is the introduction. When you see any book, okay, I'll just show you. So I just have a book in my table. So I'll just show you. This book is called A Brief History of Modern India. So this is the book. Now, see, there is a kind of editor's note here. Okay, you can see it here. So when you open this book, you will see there is an editor's note. So here, what does the editor tell you? The editor will give you a brief introduction about what is there in this book. So the editor will tell you what is the content of the book in very short and how this is going to be useful. So that is what is called an editor's note. Similarly, for the constitution, the introduction is the preamble. So preamble will give you an idea about a nutshell about what is the idea behind our constitution and what are the principles that the constitution upholds. So on what principles or on what parameters or on what values is our constitution built on. So this is called a preamble. I hope now the concept of preamble is clear for you. Okay, now the Supreme Court and also various in other judgments and all, the Supreme Court has clarified that the preamble is the soul of the constitution. So preamble is the soul of the constitution. It is the constitution in a nutshell. So Supreme Court has also clarified that preamble is an integral part of the constitution. So it's not outside the constitution, but it is an integral part of the constitution. So basically, preamble means an introduction to the constitution. It contains in a nutshell what ideas or what values does the constitution uphold. Okay. Okay, now very good question, Abhi. Abhi has asked me a very good question. I'm very happy for this question. Can we amend the preamble? Yes, we can amend the preamble, and preamble was amended once. So the amendment was 42nd amendment. So in the 42nd Amendment Act, as we said, as of now we have 104 amendments to the constitution, and in the 42nd amendment to the constitution, the preamble was amended and certain terms like secular, republic, all these terms were added. So yes, preamble can be amended. It's a part of the constitution. It can be amended. Very good question. I'm very happy for this question, Abhi. So I expect you people to ask me more and more questions so that clarity will be even better. And when you ask me the questions only, I will also be able to clarify that better and give you more points regarding the same. Okay. Now, so as I said, preamble is an introduction to the constitution. It can be said as the soul of the constitution. Soul. So soul is everything. So soul means it's everything which gives life. So if soul is not there, there is no life. So it's the soul of the constitution, or it's a life of the constitution. Okay. So this is the introduction to preamble. Now we will read the preamble once, and then we will explain each one of the important things in the preamble, whatever is important for you for examination and in real life also. And I will personally tell you that even though you do not know anything else about the constitution also, it would be really good if you can not by heart actually, but understand the preamble at least. Why? Because okay, I'll tell you the reason after taking this lecture about the preamble, because when we discuss about preamble, I think automatically you will itself understand by yourself why do we need to understand the preamble in detail. So this is our preamble. So by reading this preamble, I'll say that every Indian should be very, very proud of our country. So let's just read it one time, then we will come to it. So preamble reads like this: we, the people of India. So this is very important. Now, we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic and political liberty, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. Then equality, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of an individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In the Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. So this is how our preamble reads, and if you yourself read it, you will understand how beautifully it is written. And when we read the preamble, whenever I read the preamble, I will have goosebumps. It's just that we have the patriotic feeling, we feel the belongingness towards our country, and we feel that we are all one, we Indians are all one. So that feeling is always there. So now let's come to the preamble in detail. So first point to be understood here is we, the people of India. So here, what does it mean? We, the people of India. That means every Indian citizen. We, the people of India. Every Indian citizen who belongs to this country is enacting the constitution, or we are adopting the constitution for ourselves. So who has made the constitution? We, the people of India. Now, why it is said that we the people of India? Because the constitution was made through a democratic process. That is, the Constituent Assembly has drafted the constitution. And how did the Constituent Assembly got selected? So, it was through elections. So, Constituent Assembly was elected. So election means people have elected the members of the Constituent Assembly, and each member of the Constituent Assembly is representing the people of India, that is the citizens of India, and therefore we ourselves have made this constitution for ourselves. Okay, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India. So how we are constituting India, or what is the idea about India for us? First thing is sovereign India. So what is meant by sovereign? Sovereignty means that we ourselves, the constitution, the parliament, so the constitutional bodies, they are above everything. So we are sovereign, and it also means that here in this context of the preamble, sovereignty also means that we are not under any external power. So we are not under any external power, and we are free. Why? Earlier we were under the British, we were a British colony. So we were for very long time we were the subjects of British. So now the constitution guarantees us sovereignty, which means we are not under any external power. Next one is socialism. The second principle that we uphold is socialism. What is meant by socialism? Bringing in the principle of equity. So socialism. Secularism. Secularism means the term secularism in our constitution, in preamble, and in our constitution in general, means that the state shall not have any official religion, which means the state will not favor any particular religion. Secondly, it also means that we have the freedom to choose our religion. So secularity means that, secularism means that the state does not have an official religion, or the state will not be in favor of any particular religion. Now third point is democratic. So democratic means what the simple definition of democracy all of you might be knowing: of the people, by the people, and for the people. So this is the basic definition that we have for democracy. So democracy means the rule by the people. So here rule by the people, because the people are electing their representatives, and these representatives are ruling them. So it's a functioning of the government. Democracy means the government is functioning, which is created by the people, it's created for the people, and it is of the people. That is, among the people itself, the representatives are chosen. Okay, next one is republic. Now, yesterday we have already discussed about the idea of republic, which means that the head of the state will be elected. So, head of the state to be elected, and to secure to all its citizens. So here secure means the constitution guarantees to all its citizens justice. So we were talking about the idea of justice. So justice, what kind of justice? Social justice, economic justice, and political justice. Okay. Liberty. What is meant by liberty? Liberty doesn't mean that you can do anything that you want, because the idea of liberty is not absolute. The state can impose reasonable restrictions, but liberty means the opportunity for one person to develop himself or herself fully. This is the idea of liberty. So what kind of liberty does the constitution guarantee for us? So liberty of thought. We can have the liberty of thought, which means we can develop our ideas. Our thoughts can be developed in a way that we want. Now, expression. We can express our feelings. That is why it's said that whatever you post in the social media, or whatever you write or you speak, that is all expression. Expression comes in the form of writing, speaking, drawing, etc. So whatever you want to express, you have the liberty to do that. Of belief. Belief means you can believe what you want. Faith and worship. So all these liberty the constitution has guaranteed us. But the liberty is not absolute, which means that if our thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, it's hampering the interest of the state, or if it is hampering the sovereignty of the state or the interest of the larger public, then the state can curtail that liberty. Now, an example, I'll just give you a very simple example to understand that. Suppose you are using your social media account, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, for creating some fake news or hatred news. Now you created a WhatsApp group and there you are spreading some unwanted messages, and you are asking all people to come together and to attack someone, some officials. Okay, this is not liberty. So state or the constitution does not guarantee us such a liberty. Liberty is for the benefit of yourself and for the larger interest of the society. Okay. Next is equality. So equality of status, of opportunity. Nobody will be considered as above anyone. So equal status will be given. Now even the President of India is known as first among the equals. So why it is called? Because of the principle of equality that we hold. So equality of status and of opportunity. So everyone will be given the same opportunity. Now we will discuss all that when we come to fundamental rights. We will see each one of them and what are the exceptions given for them. And to promote among them all fraternity. Fraternity means brotherhood, the feeling of brotherhood. Assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. So assuring, what is being assured? That the dignity of the individual will be preserved and the unity and integrity of the nation will also be preserved. So this is what the Constitution Preamble guarantees us. And the last phrase is regarding the adoption. So in our Constituent Assembly, so we adopted the Constitution in our Constituent Assembly this 26th day of November 1949. So we said the adoption of Constitution. The Constitution was enacted on 26th of November 1949 and it came into effect on 26th of January 1950. So this is regarding the adoption. Here, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. So people, it starts with people, we the people of India. So we have adopted this constitution, we have enacted this constitution and we have given this constitution for ourselves. So this is regarding the preamble. See how beautifully the preamble is written. The preamble is a nutshell of the constitution in itself. It tells us what are the values that we uphold in the constitution, what are the constitutional principles that we have, and what kind of a country that we are dreaming of or what we are trying to achieve. So this is the preamble. I hope this was an interesting lecture for you. I hope you are not bored. Now Sumati, doubt in logical reasoning, help me if you know, reply to today or tomorrow. It's okay Sumati, you can post it. I think somebody will help you for sure. Okay. So this is about the preamble. Next is fundamental rights. I think we will take it up tomorrow because you have a class at 9 o'clock. So we cannot go further long. So tomorrow we will discuss about the fundamental rights. So any doubts quickly, if you have any doubts, let me know. We'll clear it off because you have the next class at 9 o'clock, I guess. So before that, if you have any doubts, you can let me know, or if at all you want to tell me your suggestions regarding the class, how it was, like whether you liked it or whether it was boring, anything you can be very open. So let me know here in the comment section now. Let's take a 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So tell me your response. So Sumati, Abhi, Lipika, Arjun, Pooja, Josephine, Rani, Informative Mission. Then who else is attending? Pratap, Puvi, Sagar. So anybody, any doubts, let me know. What type of questions are asked from this topic, just in brief? You will get MCQs like maybe for example, I have seen questions earlier like they will give you a provision of the constitution and will ask you from where we have adopted it, like from British constitution or similar questions. So then regarding preamble also there can be questions. Okay, so such type of MCQ questions, you only need to know the very, very basic things. So any other doubt? Rani, yes, it was interesting to know about our preamble. Thank you so much, Rani. Thank you. So any others? Any comments? Any suggestions? No, ma'am, I like your class very much. When I see the class is not going on, I feel sorry. I love this one. Thank you so much, Lipika. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. That was a very sweet comment. So, anything else? Anybody else? I hope it's clear for you. So one more thing, tomorrow also we will be having the classes at 8 o'clock, because maybe for another 3-4 days I have a dental appointment. So it's at 6 o'clock. So I'm not sure whether I'll come back by 7 or 7:15, so that I can take the class by 7:30. So I have kept it for 8 o'clock. So so tomorrow also 8 o'clock. Puja, good class, but please don't revise tomorrow about the inspiration of a constitution from a... Yeah, we will not do that. We will not do that. Abhi, any other country having constitution? Yes, there are many countries having constitution. US has a constitution. Britain has constitution. So as we said, all these countries, Australia has a constitution, Ireland. So we have discussed about all that, how we adopted certain features. Okay. Yeah. Then Rajat, I heard first time in my life all of these things. So how was it, Rajat? Good evening, ma'am. Good session. May I know how many questions we expect? Maybe, I think out of 50 questions, maybe you will get only 4 or 5 questions from this. Maximum of like 7 to 8 questions. But still, I thought you should not skip it. And also that this module is very important in your daily life also. So I thought I'll take it up in some detail. Okay. So yeah, tomorrow Puja we will not be revising. Okay. We will not revise. And we will just revise preamble maybe. Okay, so that's all. So we will meet again tomorrow 8 o'clock. Please do not confuse with the timing. So 8 o'clock. If you like this video, please do share it with your friends also. And also like this video if you enjoyed the class. Okay. So Abhi, ma'am, if after class 2-3 minute quiz from the discussed topic makes learning easy. So yeah, I'll consider that, Abhi. I'll do that. Okay, I'll consider that suggestion, Abhi. So thank you so much for watching. I'll meet you again tomorrow. Take care. Rani, take care of yourself. Thank you so much, Rani. Thanks a lot. 8 o'clock AM, PM. 8 PM. Yes, Lipika, tell me. And Pooja, you're welcome. Yes, Lipika, tell me what is that one thing. Sumati, thank you, ma'am. Some tables golden. Okay, this question. Some tables are golden, some teams are tables. So, can somebody help Sumati with that? It will be really great. I hope to meet you tomorrow. Lipika, do you want to ask me anything? Okay. So, I'll meet you again tomorrow. Please do take care. See you. Bye.